It's SGSS, and Inga Schult has had some spells on the sidelines, so too Larissa Heidner. And that's why Paulik was brought in from Frankfurt during the winter break. And now as we hit the business end of the season, it would be a bitter, bitter blow for Hamburg to have to deal with yet another injury to a goalkeeper. Little she could do about the shot from Fudala that separates the sides because it flashed past her. Such was the venom on it. She's not the first goalkeeper to concede to Vanessa Fudala this season, and she will not be the last, I don't think. It's a good race at the top of the goal-scoring charts right now. Fudala in the mix, along with the likes of Pernilla Harder of Bayern, Hoffenheim's Selina Cerci, and then Alex Popp of Wolfsburg and Larissa Mühlhaus of Werder Bremen. Those three players all on 12 goals, 2 behind Fudala and Harder. There's no doubting, though, that Leverkusen good value for their lead because Hamburg haven't produced anything going forward so far. This game taking on a very similar style to the encounter we saw in the DFB Pokal quarterfinals when Bayern came here to the Volkswagen Arena. They were dominant without ever having to find their best form. Leverkusen haven't had to be at their best so far this evening to lead 1-0. Had they been at their best, they'd probably be 2 or 3 up by now. Lea Paulik has had a bit of treatment. Looks like she's going to be able to continue, which is a small relief, I'm sure. Claudio Wenger's passing range out from centre-back has certainly been a key part of Leverkusen's approach this evening in breaking the Hamburg lines, evading some of the pressing actions that the hosts are trying to put in play. Cheeky nutmeg there from Marina Gonzalez to find Bender. Kram around the corner. Got a touch on the ball, but just lost out in the end against Svea Stolt. Now Lotte Vrede. Lotte Vrede, technically so gifted. I mean, in the end, it takes 3 Leverkusen players to get her off the ball. So fine was the footwork there from the 17-year-old. If Hamburg go down, something tells me she will be one of the names near the top of many a list when it comes to summer transfers for teams that stay in the Bundesliga. But something tells me her hope will be to retain top-tier status with her hometown club. One of many in the Hamburg ranks that hail from the port city. You've got the Vrede twins, you've got Leni Egert, who has featured heavily at left-back many a time this season. Christine Meyer, Victoria Schulz, the woman unfortunately forced off injured early on in this game. There's not many teams that can boast that many homegrown talents on their books, but Hamburg can. That's a poor clearance from Wenger, straight to Vrede. Just takes a moment to size up her options. Looks for the killer pass, but got the angles wrong, looking for her twin sister. The pressure applied, but again, relatively easily evaded. And now Bender able to pick up the ball and turn. Hamburg haven't quite learned the lessons of the threat that Loreen Bender can pose. Along with Cornelia Kramer, she's had the most shots of any player on the pitch with 3. Leverkusen have racked up the chances without racking up the goals. Compared to the 1-0 win against Karl Zeiss Jena last weekend, this is a much better performance from Roberto Petzold and company. And right now, another match-winning performance to add to the collection for Vanessa Fudala so far in her debut season for Leverkusen. A new personal best for her in terms of goal-scoring output. Unsurprising, and as a result, firmly pushing to finish as the league's top goal scorer. She broke double digits in both seasons with Leipzig. 10 and 10, but it's 14 in 21 this season. She speaks openly and honestly about the fact that, given her more diminutive frame, she has had to learn to use her body in a way that maybe other players at the highest level haven't had to, in order to establish herself against bigger defenders that try and outmuscle her and jostle her off the ball. And I'm sure that's part of the concern for Christian Wück as to why she might not quite be what Germany are looking for at the international level. By comparison, someone like Larissa Mühlhaus does not have that problem. She's of a very different stature and frame. But given the injuries to the likes of Giovanna Hofmann, I just wonder why Wück is so reticent to ignore the goal-scoring form from Fudala this season. But it's not just this season, it's 3 very consistent seasons at the highest level now in the Frauen-Bundesliga. One thing to do it with Leipzig, another thing to take the step up with Leverkusen and then improve on your goal-scoring output. But there's probably a reason that I'm not the German national team head coach and someone like Christian Wück is. And I do understand that there are arguments in his favour as well that are easy to point to. My argument is more what harm can be done from giving her the chance, at least the chance, to prove herself in the international setup. See what she can do. Germany's upcoming fixtures in World Cup qualifying. See them take on Austria in Nuremberg on the 14th of April, and then they travel to Austria 4 days later on the 18th. Right now, Germany with 2 wins from 2 against Slovenia and Norway. Austria 2 losses from 2, which is mightily disappointing for a side that would have had aspirations of qualifying for the World Cup, even if they knew they were up against it in a group with Germany and Norway. Oh, Lindberg. Lovely bit of play from Camilla Lindberg! Hamburg level the scores before half-time with their first shot of the game. The Volkspark Stadion goes from silenced to euphoric as Camilla Lindberg gets her 4th goal for the club since joining in the winter. What a recruit she has proven to be. Leverkusen only have themselves to blame for the scores being levelled. But what a way to level them. A goal all of her own making, adding to the brace she scored in a 4-0 win against Hoffenheim, and the equaliser she scored against Frankfurt last time out. She'll be hoping that maybe this equaliser can lead to a more positive result. And Leverkusen will go back to the missed chances for Cornelia Kramer and Loreen Bender. Kramer, ball into the danger area. Came back to her, but difficult to control. I can sense a bit more urgency in the Leverkusen ranks. Kramer has picked up a knock somewhere in the mix, and as a result, does go to ground. Looks like she might have just had the wind knocked out of her, though. Nothing more serious, hopefully. That was a tough challenge from Bender. There was, I thought, enough of the ball to avoid a booking, even if she didn't avoid the foul going against her. But Dr. Reem Hussein is a woman who has seen every type of challenge possible at the highest level, and there was an element of risk in the mix there from Bender because she was studs up, foot off the ground. Just back from a one-game ban as well, Loreen Bender, and straight back into the referee's book. But with challenges like that, you can understand maybe why she's picked up 5 already this season. She does like to chip in defensively, but slide tackles not quite her forte. Pushing the back there from Vrede on Kramer. Can't squeeze the pass through to Bender. Now the Vrede twins look to try and release the pressure out from the back. Lotter again using that wonderful footwork of hers. A bit of a risky area to do that in, but she gets away with it. Oh, Martens has to move the ball on. Hamburg will be desperate to get this game in at half-time at 1-1. And then the question is, with a team talk behind them, can they maybe go one better than they did against Frankfurt last time out? Can they avoid Leverkusen finding that late surge of quality when legs are tired in the Hamburg ranks to really put them to the sword? Bruno Gonzalez, the ball was on there, but in the end, picked off. Leverkusen win it back, though. Sophie Stebel, Piljic. She's going to line one up. Piljic, that's well struck, and Paulik had to get a touch on it. 3 minutes of time added on. Paulik calling for her teammates to be a little bit sharper in denying Leverkusen shots from range, because that was definitely dipping under the bar from Katarina Piljic. That would have been 2 goals in 2 games for the holding midfielder. A rare streak of goal-scoring form for her. Now Fudala with the corner. Into the throng of bodies. One hits the floor in Leverkusen colours as the ball goes back out to Fudala. 1-2 with Piljic. The Hamburg defenders stop defending. Piljic. And Kramer threw up a leg, but there was a touch on the ball from Martens before it. She had a lot to her game, Katarina Piljic, when she was still on the book with SKS Essen, when they enjoyed a much better season than the last couple they're enduring, including this one, where it would be a real shame to see them demoted as the only all-women's team left in the Frauen-Bundesliga. Ducouré doesn't get the header clear. Still the danger looms large. Ostermeier's underneath it. Fudala. Oh! Well, it wasn't Fudala, excuse me. It was Sophie Stebel, but a spectacular effort there. Sizing up the scissor kick. The Leverkusen captain. Wasn't far over either, was it? Doesn't score many. Sophie Stebel. And again, 21 years of age, approaching her 100th appearance in all competitions for Leverkusen. Regular feature for Germany's under-23 side, and another player in the Leverkusen ranks that certainly one to watch for the future when it comes to the national team. Right now, Christian Wück is not going to be in an experimental phase when it comes to his squad selections anymore, leading up to World Cup qualifying and, of course, the World Cup. But with one eye on the fact that the European Championships are coming back to Germany in a few years' time, then you never know. Sophie Stebel, Katharina Piljic, maybe Lotte Vrede of Hamburg. Those are the types of names that could well be on the national team list. Bart's bit of an awkward ball to control, but she does really well, the woman on loan from Leverkusen. Ducouré sold a little short by the pass, and Wamser now wants one final chance for Leverkusen before half-time. Ball to Grant, lets it run across her. Fudala on the turn. Fudala! Still scrapping away for a second chance opportunity. Wamser's cross is picked off by Paulik. And that is the end of a very entertaining first half here at the Volksparkstadion. A rematch from the DFB Pokal round of 16 that was won on penalties by Hamburg. That game ended 1-1 after 90 minutes and 120. So far, it's 1-1 through 45 tonight. Leverkusen scoring through their top goal scorer, Vanessa Fudala. Hamburg scoring with their only shot of the first half, courtesy of Camilla Lindberg. And as a result, all to play for in the Port City in the second half. At the break, it's Hamburg 1, Leverkusen 1. Hello and welcome back everyone to the Volkspark Stadion, where after what was a rather one-sided first half, it is still all square, level at 1-1. Lightning almost striking twice in this particular fixture at this particular stadium after these two sides met in the DFB Pokal round of 16 and played out a 1-1 draw that was won on penalties by Hamburg 4-2. Tonight it's league points on offer. No threat of extra time or penalties. Hamburg had to do a lot of defending. Leverkusen missed their fair share of chances. The only one scored by that woman, Vanessa Fudala, her 14th of the season. But with their only shot of the first half, Hamburg found an equaliser courtesy of Camilla Lindberg, her 4th goal in 9 games for the club. And it means they've got a fighting chance heading into this second half of maybe picking up a precious point in their bid to beat the drop. HSV forever and ever, HSV all the way. But can they go all the way to victory tonight? Now the floodlights are on this Monday night in the port city of Hamburg. Leverkusen, the visitors from the Rhineland, making the trip north, and will have been disappointed at half-time to be level at 1-1, having carved out all the first half chances, bar one. But while they only scored once with their 14 shots, Hamburg scored once from their only shot. James Surrogate, your match commentator, delighted to have the pleasure of your company on this Monday evening. Not many more Monday night matches left in the current campaign after this fixture. Just 4 remaining for both of these two sides. They will not be in cup action in the semi-finals next weekend. Hamburg knocked out Leverkusen in the round of 16, and then here on home soil lost to Bayern München, who will be favourites to retain their title. They do have to beat Essen in the semis first. It's just an interesting way that the cup competition has panned out this season. It's the Frauen-Bundesliga's top 2 of Bayern and Wolfsburg taking on the Frauen-Bundesliga's bottom 2 of Essen and Karl Zeiss Jena, the only 2 teams that are below Hamburg in the standings. Before the start of play, Hamburg with a 3-point cushion above the automatic relegation zone, which is why even a point tonight would be precious. Because it means that even on one particular weekend, if they were to lose and Essen were to win, that they would still stay above the bottom 2. Of course, they'd prefer to do it with another 3 points tonight, and a 6-point cushion with 12 left on offer might genuinely be enough this season based on Jena and Essen's inability to pick up results on a consistent basis. While Karl Zeiss Jena, a team that still have a fair few part-timers in their ranks, and as a result understandable and unsurprising that they are in the relegation battle and likely to go down. But between SGS Essen and Hamburg, it would be a shame to lose either one of them. Hamburg having only just returned to the Frauen-Bundesliga after a 13-year absence. Essen, they've been in the top tier for over 20 years now, uninterrupted, and they are the remaining, or the only remaining team that aren't linked with a men's club. As a result, they're flying a unique flag themselves. So it would be a shame to see this awful season end in relegation. Someone's got to go down. Nürnberg aren't quite out of the woods just yet, but it might take a miracle to drag them back in. Fudala's free kick, easily dealt with by Lea Paulik. She wanted the early outlet. Brunthala made a good run, but thought better of giving the ball away too quickly and cheaply. Lea Paulik, who did need treatment in the first half, seemed to have picked up a bit of a knock after a goal kick, but is soldiering on for now. Lotte Freda. Space to work with here for Hamburg. Disappointing touch from her twin sister, Jona. Nice play by Leverkusen down the other end. Kramer looking for Fudala. Well cut out by Svea Stolt at the near post. Hat-trick of goal-scoring opportunities in the first half, Cornelia Kramer, and unable to make the most of any of them. She and Loreen Bender both carrying a portion of the blame for the fact that Leverkusen have been pegged back at 1-1 and aren't still leading in this game, because they could have put the game well beyond reach before Hamburg even had the chance through Camilla Lindberg. A wonderful solo effort, in contrast to Leverkusen, which was a wonderful team move. Now Fudala edge of the area, normally the corner taker, instead wants to have a shot on goal. Deflected, and it might still work out. Kramer, well, the offside flag was up against her anyway. It won't count as another opportunity for the Danish striker. Tough to tell whether she was offside. Of course, we don't have the use of goal line technology or video assistant referees in the Frauen-Bundesliga. Freda, her intention well read by Sophie Stebel. To have the captain's armband at 21 years of age really does speak volumes of Sophie Stebel's quality, both on the ball, off the ball, as a leader as well. Her dad, Thomas, actually made 12 appearances for Leverkusen's men's team back in his playing career. He now works with the youth teams. Stebel, an academy graduate, 95 appearances in all competitions for the club, including tonight. Says she lives life by the motto of Hakuna Matata. Which means no worries for the rest of your days, in case you were wondering. And you're not familiar with the Lion King. Poor throw in straight to Piljic. You can see why they think a lot of the two Freda twins, Lotte and Jona, but there's a reason that Lotte's a little bit more established than Jona. Doesn't quite make as many mistakes, more comfortable on the ball. Right now, Jona's out of position. She advanced the lines. She perhaps shouldn't have, but now it's worked to Selina Ostermeier. Leverkusen cranking up the pressure, but now the chance on the counter for Hamburg. And again, it's Lindberg. Oh, Lindberg, lovely play. She's got runners left and right. It's Burla. Sees her cross blocked. And it will go behind for a throw-in. Those are the moments that Hamburg are waiting for. Ready to pounce if afforded the opportunity to break. And it's going to take a lot of hard work from the likes of Melanie Brunthaler and Camilla Lindberg, the goal scorer. As Burla, another deflection on the cross, and another throw-in at the end of it all. Ruby Grant finds Fudala well, who then links up with Kramer. Avoids the challenge from her former teammate, Paulina Bartz. Bender, oh, what a take that is from Lune Bender. Mislijevic didn't want to commit, and now a lovely ball from Bender to find Katarina Piljic! Leverkusen retake the lead, and Piljic makes it 2 goals in 2 games. Leverkusen's collective quality comes to the fore once again. The first goal was all about Piljic and Fudala. This one's all about Bender and Piljic. As she adds to her early assist with another goal. Pegged back before half-time, Leverkusen lead again at the Volksparkstadion. Third of the season. The most prolific campaign of her career, and 2 goals in 2 games now. After scoring the winner against Karl Zeiss Jena, she has now scored a potential winner against Hamburg. Can the home side pick themselves up once again to battle back? From one end to the other, a chance on the counter for Hamburg. Leverkusen go down the other. Make no mistake. But it really was all about the brilliant bit of play from Loreen Bender. The take, the touch, the time, and then the pass to Piljic. That is why she will be knocking on the door of the national team very soon, Loreen Bender. I guess then the question is, does she have the profile that Christian Vuk is looking for? Even if Vanessa Fudala doesn't. Someone that will, I do believe in the future, is Katarina Piljic. Stay proving why she's got those box-to-box qualities. Certainly more defensively minded in her midfield role, Katarina Piljic. Fudala with another corner. Headed clear. Ruby Grant first to the loose ball. Wanting to recycle, but has to retreat to Vamsa. That's a loose pass from Vamsa that's going to get picked off. And now another chance on the counter for Hamburg. Brunthaler against Vamsa. Lot of Raider. Oh, she's got past Vamsa, but Marina Gonzalez was there. And in the end, 2 for company was 1 too many for Lotte Vrede. Look there at Victoria Schultz on the sidelines with the crutches. A nasty ankle injury picked up in the first half. She went to block a cross and the ball ended up hitting the toe of her foot, and as a result, ankle ligaments tweaked all over the place. She was in a fair bit of pain. Good to see that she's still in the stadium and not been rushed to hospital, which suggests it's not as serious as it could be, but still, at this stage of the season, every injury has the potential to be a season-ending one, even if not that serious. And it would be a shame for Hamburg to lose Victoria Schultz down the stretch, especially if things do get a little bit hairy in terms of the relegation battle. Defeat tonight and they would still have that 3-point buffer. But it's fair to say that is not breathing room that lets you breathe easy if you are Hamburg. The difficulty is, can you see SKS Essen picking up 2 positive results in the final 4 games of the season? It's a hard argument to make. And that's why the 19 points that Nuremberg have will likely be enough. As Grant with the header here and, well, had to take it first time. Half diving, half falling, but either way, she did get the shot on target to Tess Paulik. Rather unceremonious foul there from Carlotte Vamsa on Melanie Brunthaler. Well, no, actually, I'll be honest, I'm surprised to see her escape a booking. Although Dr. Reem Hussein is still having a chat with Vamsa, maybe to say that that was really flirting with a yellow card. Stolt sends the ball forward. Mirza Lieva was underneath it. Lotte Vrede just for a second thought about the shot, but now it's worked out to her twin sister, Jona. Cross blocked. Wenger with the header. There's no foul in the mix there. I'm not sure what the complaints from the sidelines are for. Now it's Hamburg with the high press, and they've won the ball well. Bartz to Brunthaler. Shot blocked from Böhler. And a handball against Fudala. Awkward bounce for Leverkusen's star striker. Vreda. She does have a few tricks like her sister. Cross on a weaker foot. Headed clear by Wamser, and then that's a very wasteful pass from Cornelia Kramer at a point when Leverkusen did have a chance to break in transition. It is worth pointing out that for Leverkusen, in the context of this campaign, this victory would move them back above Werder Bremen after Bremen's 2-1 win against Essen saw them exact their revenge for being knocked out of the cup by Essen, the same way Leverkusen are looking to exact their revenge here against Hamburg. And it would move them within 5 points of Eintracht Frankfurt with 12 left to play for. But again, they'd have to hope for a big helping hand from the Seagulls to stand any chance of maybe sneaking into third place. The feeling is that Frankfurt left the door open, more open than they have in recent seasons, to be pipped to the post for third place, but Hoffenheim, Leverkusen, Bremen just haven't found consistency to capitalise. Brunthaler digs out a nice ball to the goal scorer Lindberg. Oh, goes down in the box, but Dr. Reem Hussein waves it away. And now Bender's on the break. Only Fudala ahead of her. Kramer's busting her gut to get forward as well. Bender shadowed by Martens, but just wriggling away from the defensive pressure. I'd love to see a replay of that challenge on Lindberg again. Because there was an argument to be made. Truth be told, Dr. Reem Hussein does take some convincing when it comes to spot kicks. Now Grant with the shot. Stolt body in the way. Piljic picking up the pieces. Almost had her pocket picked by Lotte Vrede. Now Ostermeier back to Wamser. Wamser looked to break the lines again, looking for Ruby Grant. Bartz now comes away with it, and Piljic leaves one in on Paulina Bartz, and we'll get a booking for her troubles. And that's the curious thing for me. Loreen Bender's booking, I understand. Carlotta Wamser put in a challenge that was a bit worse than that a few moments ago, didn't get a booking, but now Piljic does. It's hard being a referee, isn't it? Talk about consistency. They have to stay so consistent over the course of 90 minutes. For now, more changes being made. Ruby Grant comes off for Kristin Kurgel. And it looks like Julia Mickenhagen is also going to come on for Leverkusen. Indeed, she does for Esther Marino Gonzalez. Mickenhagen, the goal scorer in the DFB Pokal round of 16 here at the Volkspark Stadion, when Leverkusen came from a goal down to level the scores at 1-1. Meanwhile, for Hamburg, Lotte Vrede has made way for Melina Krüger. Second change for Hamburg. Paulina Bartz, the woman on loan from Leverkusen, back with her hometown club. Just for the second half of this season, she was replaced by Maria Nikolayova, as you can see there at the top of your screen right now. Hamburg still with a goal in it, as Wamser this time does go into the book, joining Piljic and Bender. And Hamburg with a free kick that they will want to make something of. And need to as well. Müller-Lindberg. The Hamburg goalscorer looks to turn provider. Plenty of white shirts to pick out. Needs a good delivery, doesn't get it. Stolt with a swing. Doesn't strike cleanly. Ducouré. Lofted forward, it might work out here. Oh, Kruger with a snapshot volley. Wasn't far wide, she caught it nicely. Popped up off the head of Selina Ostermeier, and it was there to be taken. First time. Kruger, the young 20-year-old, still yet to score in the Frauen-Bundesliga, but 7 goals to her name on the Hamburg books. Another claim of that cannot be possible from the dugouts. Wieder keine Abseits. Again, no offside is the belief from the Leverkusen bench, but Rafael Borgrefer hasn't had a lot to do today. I actually, in fairness, I haven't even mentioned her name, I don't think. Sensed the danger there and dealt with it. Borgrefer, like her counterpart, Lea Paulik, picked up in the winter break by Leverkusen due to injuries suffered to Charlotte Voll, who dislocated her shoulder. And then Friederike Repol, the undisputed #1, who is out with a partial knee ligament tear. And as a result, Borgrefer was actually brought in from Liverpool to be a backup for the second half of the season, then got thrust in to the action due to the injuries. A woman looking to rebuild her reputation after picking up a hefty ban. 6-game ban for a racial slur used reportedly during a Liverpool team photo shoot. Said that she was deeply sorry, that she's definitely learned from the situation, and she is a firm believer in respect, openness and diversity. Kürgel against Ducouré. Kürgel has wriggled away. Fudala waits in the middle, but the cross a touch too long. Brilliant play by the substitute Kristin Kürgel. She is a real handful for any defender. Again, this second half is playing out in a similar fashion to the way the first half did, where Leverkusen have taken a lead. They've had a couple of chances to extend that lead, albeit not with the same quality of chances we saw in the first half from Bender, Kramer, and maybe even that overhead kick from Sophie Stebbel. But Leverkusen haven't taken their chances. They're leaving the door open, and Hamburg, if they can do what they did in the first half and find that cliched lucky punch, there's still something in this, but Leverkusen want to shut the door, and Bender not helped by the pass by Fudala. Keeps it in brilliantly though, Loreen Bender. Now Vamsa. Oh, Crow! Oh no, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. How has Cornelia Kramer not scored tonight? I was asking myself that question with the hat-trick of chances she had in the first half, but that one is criminal. Carlotta Vamsa literally puts it on a silver platter, and somehow she gets her footing on unmarked in the 6-yard box. This is a horror moment for a goal scorer. It just needs a touch. Vamsa has done everything perfectly. And again, it's the same storyline. If Leverkusen do drop points here, they will only have themselves to blame. Mickenhagen fouled by Annalena Wucher, who's going to get the first booking in the Hamburg ranks with just over 20 minutes of normal time remaining. Went for the nutmeg, didn't pull it off, ended up just pulling heftily on the kit of Julia Mickenhagen. Hamburg, they do, in their situation, have to scrap for everything. Every match is a fight, and every moment within that match is a battle that feels like a must-win one. Stebel with the free kick. Kramer attacked, but it was Mirza Lieva who got her head to the ball first. No Lies Brankau in the Hamburg dugout, in case you're just joining us. Serving out a one-game ban for picking up too many yellow cards, but she is in the stadium, in the stands, watching on from a more advantageous height, perhaps. Stebel's corner, well, plucked out of the air by Lea Paulik. Confident piece of goalkeeping, and it needed to be. Hamburg, there's an element where they aren't doing as much or even enough to really ruffle the feathers of Leverkusen in possession, but if they exert too much energy, then again those tired legs will be capitalised on later. Oh, Paulik! Well, it's not just tired legs, it's tired minds as well. So close to getting that one all wrong, Lea Paulik. Paulik again. Oh, that one was even better in pulling off the catch. A very crowded box. Lindberg just plays on the mind of Wamser, who is on a booking, lest we forget. Has to be careful. It just doesn't work out for Hamburg. And always Camilla Lindberg hurt herself there. Off the ball for now. Bender bursting forward. Still trying to keep Leverkusen on the ball as Brunzala can't turn, and very edgy right now at 2-1 for Leverkusen. Because Hamburg have to take the risk. They've got nothing to lose. They've got so much to gain with one goal or even two. But two, truth be told, is highly unlikely. Kürgel. Back from Mickenhagen. The pass in behind, asking too much of the Leverkusen left back. Hamburg Stadium announcer rallying the troops inside the Volksparkstadion. Because again, all it takes is one opportunity in front of goal, and if you can find a clinical touch the way Lindberg did in the first half, then points on offer here for Hamburg. And there haven't been many this season, especially on home soil. Just 6 points picked up from a possible 30 so far. Ball out from the back, but again given straight back to Wenger. Those are the moments where Hamburg really just need to get a foot on the ball. Another offside call that draws the ire of the Leverkusen bench. Right now we've got a Hamburg player down on the far side of the pitch, but Hamburg were so intent on getting the ball rolling again that treatment couldn't be given. I believe it's Jona Vreda out there that just went down, and now as a result she's out of position. Another offside call against Cornelia Kramer. Leverkusen keep saying, oh, we can't believe what we're seeing, but at some point they've got to say, well, Kramer's got to time her runs better. She's got the pace that she doesn't need an advantage. Kruger gives chase, and Vams are taking no chances with the header back to Borgrefer. Not quite the over 12,000 that we had for the Nord Derby here at the Volksparkstadion in Hamburg's last home game, but over 4,000 in attendance here tonight for the visit of Leverkusen on the Monday night. That is the type of attendance figures that are not to be taken for granted, even if fan bases don't like the Monday night matches in the Frauen-Bundesliga. Kruger, oh, that's a good ball. Bruntalo! Went the wrong way. Or needed to get the shot off earlier, one of the two. But now Bender is breaking, and Leverkusen might just rub further salt in the Hamburg wounds. Kramer, can she now get a first of the season? Paulik denies, and Bender blows the follow-up. Well, Leverkusen are playing a very savvy game here. They're waiting for Hamburg to take the risk. They're waiting for Hamburg to advance their lines, commit numbers forward, and then when they do that, they're looking to break at pace and almost hit the counter-attacking team at their own game. And with players like Fudala, Bender, Kramer, they've got plenty of pace to exploit breaking forward. Kramer was sent a little wide by the pass from Bender that made life difficult. Add that to another of her chances wasted this evening. This was the one down the other end, Bruntala. I think she had to take a touch, and it's the right decision to take a touch to settle. Now Mickenhagen. Mickenhagen! The woman who scored the equaliser in the DFB Pokal round of 16, this time scores a goal to put the game beyond Hamburg's reach. End-to-end action at the Volksparkstadion. Hamburg have been throwing caution to the wind, and as a result, a touch exposed and punished by Mickenhagen for a second time this season. But this time for Mickenhagen, it'll lead to victory and not to extra time and penalties. Lovely finish from the left back as well, you have to say, beating Paulik at a near post. You can see what tonight has cost some of these Hamburg players as well. You cannot, and this has often been the case this season, blame them for not leaving it all on the line. But a bit like Karlsruhe, a bit like SKS Essen this season, sometimes their best just isn't good enough at this level. Not against teams like Leverkusen. And again, it has the same feel of last weekend's defeat to Frankfurt, where Hamburg gave a really good account of themselves. They pushed Frankfurt for a good 60 minutes, but ultimately their performance levels are difficult to make. We cannot forget that for many of these women, it's their first experience of the Frauen-Bundesliga or a top-flight league at all. As a result, their form, their fighting spirit, their performances are not to be taken for granted. That's a nice ball to find Annalene Böhler. They've got the numbers advantage here, Hamburg, if they can use it. Böhler looking for Krüger. And Wamser with the defensive header behind for a corner. Can they add a bit more tension and jeopardy to proceedings with a goal here, the hosts? Borgrefer comes unchallenged and easily collects. Look at the final 4 games of their first season back in the Frauen-Bundesliga in 13 years for Hamburg. And a big game against Nuremberg next time out, because that is their most winnable fixture that remains. Union Berlin, Köln, they're safe. Bayern will be the champions by the time these two sides meet on Matchday 26, and maybe that plays in Hamburg's favour. As the shot comes in, oh, Paulik, best save of the game. Pushing the Vidal shot from outside the area beyond the post. Made it look flashy. Hamburg doing everything they can to avoid a repeat of the 4-1 loss to Frankfurt last time out by keeping this at 3-1. Vidal's corner drops in a dangerous area. Wenger for Mickenhagen, and Vidal! Pokes at it. Didn't get enough purchase on it really to trouble Paulik though, did she? There was a chance for Hamburg to break from the corner, but it petered out. Certainly part of the approach from Hamburg and Paulik. She wants to move the ball quickly when it's in her gloves. Here are the remaining games for Leverkusen. And again, a 5-point deficit between them and Frankfurt. They could win all 4 of the remaining fixtures and still not pit Frankfurt to the post in 3rd place. But some winnable games there, and the one against Essen means that they will once again have another part to play in the relegation battle like they have tonight. The question is, where will they land come the end of the season? How far up the top half of the table will they be? Köln almost did Leverkusen a favour by taking points off of Frankfurt this weekend, but Frankfurt managed to come from a goal down to win. Big week for teams at the top of the table as well. Bayern and Wolfsburg both lead by a single goal in their respective Women's Champions League quarter-finals as they go into their second legs against Lyon and Manchester United respectively. Meanwhile, Eintracht Frankfurt needing to bounce back from a rather humbling defeat in the first leg of their Women's Europa Cup semi-final. 3-0 loss on home soil to BK Häcken, the second leg on Thursday. Would be quite the remarkable result if they managed to overturn the first leg deficit. They wanted that journey to go as long as possible in the inaugural season of the Women's Europa Cup. Now Lindberg with the corner. Defended well at the near post. Fizz back in. And again, that one was going wide. Kürgel wasn't taking any chances, though. Still it comes to Leni Egert. They've got plenty of players up, Hamburg, and will swing at the ball that could have gone anywhere. But it is another corner for the hosts. Four minutes of time added on at the end of the 90. Stolt to swing it in. Oh, she gets a lovely delivery. Borgrefe did well, and the follow-up effort a touch disappointing from Mikolayova. And now the scorer of the first goal of the evening, Vanessa Fudala, makes way. She is not going to go top of the goal-scoring charts on her own. She joins Pernille Harder on 14 after this lovely effort broke the deadlock. Flashing past Paulik despite her getting fingertips on the ball. Fudala with a fair few eye-catching moments this evening, but none better than her 14th goal of the season. An ongoing new personal best being set by Vanessa Fudala. Everything you've got is the call from the Hamburg bench, but everything they've got will be too little too late now. You fast forward to the end of the month, and you do feel like match day 23 could be a defining one in the relegation battle, because we've got the bottom two going head-to-head. Essen on home soil against rock-bottom Karl Zeiss Jena. And then you've got the two teams above them going head-to-head as well. Nürnberg on home soil to Hamburg. All it takes is Nürnberg winning and Essen winning, and also Hamburg and Essen would be equal on 15 points. And at that point, maybe, just maybe, goal difference would play a role. Right now, Hamburg's stands at minus 29, including tonight's 2-goal deficit. Essen, minus 35. So Hamburg do have what will feel like an extra point and a slight edge in that particular head-to-head. Could that be their saving grace? The question, one of the big questions we had at the start of this season, with the Frauen-Bundesliga expanding to 14 teams for the first time ever, how many points would be needed to survive? Last season, Karl Zeiss Jena survived with 10 points and just 7 goals scored. But of course, last season we only lost 1 team. This season, we're back to losing 2. On the dance floor with demotion. We've got 4 teams on that dance floor. Nürnberg have 1 foot off it. Tonight, Hamburg are missing the opportunity to do the same as Karma offside again. I think she was not going for a shot there. But again, how she hasn't scored her first of the season, only she will know. She had some big chances in the first half, but none were bigger than the one that Carlotta Wamser put on a plate for her inside the 6-yard box when she was unmarked. And she somehow got her footing all wrong and completely fluffed her lines. As a result, her goal drought still dates back to the final match day of last season. But luckily for Leverkusen, it hasn't had the impact it could have on the scoreline. Brunthaler, is there one last act of defiance? Shot fizzed in, but Borgrefe deals with it from Pauline Martens. Leverkusen, not at their best, but good enough to beat Hamburg on home soil as they exact their revenge for their DFB-Pokal round of 16 loss here at the Volksparkstadion. That one had the drama of a penalty shootout. Tonight, 4 goals shared, 3-1 in favour of the visitors. Plenty of drama of a different kind, but Leverkusen taking all 3 points and leaving Hamburg in relegation peril. The final score, Hamburg 1, Leverkusen 3. A game that had a little bit of everything. Some lovely team goals, a stunning solo effort, some neat saves. But ultimately Hamburg, it is the story of their season, giving a good account of themselves, making